Hey YouTube, it's Summer again. And if you clicked on this video, thank you so much for doing so. Um, I wanted to talk to y'all again about something else. So, if you read the title, then you already know I'm talking about my experience with not really having to clean up at home coming up as a kid. Um, Now, I did learn how to clean up from my grandma because, like I said, I was practically raised on my grandma because my mama was always working. And, you know, she always had us at her house. And so we was just always cleaning up at my grandma's house. And from my mom's perspective, she said she was always having to clean up too as a kid, like at her grandma's house, you know, and probably at her own home too, as a kid. But, um, that's that part. But I believe that when my mom got her own house and moved out with her kids, she decided ain't nobody told her she had to clean up, so she wasn't finna do it. you know I mean, she cleaned when it suited her or whatever. But when you're raising a little girl, I mean, or a son too, a boy should know how to clean up after himself. But if you're raising a little girl, you need to be teaching her how to be clean. You know what I'm saying? But hey, like I said, nobody's perfect. You know what I'm saying? But this is my story. This is my perspective. This is the way I feel. You feel me? I'm the daughter of someone that didn't teach her how to be a lady. I had to learn that mainly on my own. Um, but yeah, so I had dogs growing up too. I had some dachshunds. They were the best little dogs. I loved them so much. But see, having dogs or just any pets in the house on top of not being a regular cleaner is not a good mix. By the way, if y'all wondering why I'm walking and all that, I'm just doing a little workout, and I decided to record now. But anyway, the dogs, they would just be using it all up in the house because we weren't made to take them for walks on a regular. We were not told to clean up after them. Like, I'm just growing up, having these dogs in the house. I didn't like how it smelled in the house. I was aware that it smelled bad in the house. And I was so aware that I would not invite friends over because it was embarrassing for me. And it was just embarrassing that nobody else was embarrassed by it too. Because I would try to clean up in the house and all that. I would try to clean. I'd be the only one cleaning up. My room was always different from the rest of the house. It did not smell like the rest of the house because I was just a certain way. That's not to say that that when I was really young, I do remember the dogs being in my room and I had a little poop on my carpet or whatever. But as I got a little older and becoming more aware, I just had my own sense about me. My room, and I stayed in my room. Like, just growing up, whatever house we moved in, I stayed in my room for the most part. So, I just had my own little sanctuary in my room. But when I come out my room, child, you could smell the house. You could smell what was going on up in there. And y'all, here's one experience that was just so embarrassing. And I just never forgot it. Now, this one day, I went to school. And we had like a project or whatever, and I wound up going to one of my friends' house because we were working on the project together. And typically, oh shit, I stepped on one of those little bugs, but it's flying around. Anyway, it's fine. I hope. Where was I? Oh yeah, we had a project, and I went to her house. I was quick to jump to say, yeah, we can go to your house, girl. So yeah, I went to her house, and we worked on the project and all that. And her mom was taking me home by the end of the day. Now, I had already kind of perceived, somebody might be wanting to talk to somebody or whatever, that I had already perceived that. So before even leaving the house, I had tried to, tidy up the living room or something. Now, by the time I had to came home from being out all day, from being in school and to my friend's house and all that, it's nighttime by the time I get back home. Child, it was so freaking embarrassing. My friend's mom had wanted to talk to my mom. So, they walking up to the door with me. I'm already embarrassed because I'm like, oh, gosh, what's going to happen? Girl, child, the front door open. Whoosh. Smell. It just smelled like sweat. I'm seeing my brother. He in the living room. And by the way, he played football. So he was just always sweaty and, football player. So he just got the whole house smelling like sweat. And, it smelled pissy in there too. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And it was just so embarrassing. It was so embarrassing. And like, what could I do? What could I do? Just living in that house. But my friend, I know she ain't look at me the same after that. I don't even remember how the rest of the school year went after that. Pretty sure we were still friends or whatever, but that was definitely embarrassing for me. But there were many stories of where my friends wanted to come to my house and I didn't want them to because I already knew, like, it was embarrassing. I didn't want to be seen that way just because that's how they wanted to live. That's not how I wanted to live. So, but it is what it is, right? Now, I got my own apartment, which y'all seen me in my first video. And I keep it clean for the most part, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not like the dirtiest person in the world, but I'm not the cleanest either. Like, I do my best, okay? I do my best. I make sure I don't keep my clothes on the floor. I make sure it's smelling good all the time. You feel me? I'm not the best at doing my dishes. I don't like doing dishes, but I pretty much eat out for the most part because I don't like doing dishes. But I'm not the type of person to, like, dust all the time. But I have to say, like, it's the way I live is literally the flip side of how I grew up. Like, I do not live like that, how I was raised. You feel me? Even when I had a dog in my house, I did not let my dog just be using it up in the house. I did my best to let my dog out. Now, when I had to go to work, of course I had to clean up after her after a while and all that. But she got used to holding it till I got off work. So, I didn't really have to deal with that. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you get to choose who you want to be in life. You don't have to be what you were raised like, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to be that way. And I'm still breaking out of certain ways. But I'm way better off than what I was before. And I'm just learning as I go through life on how to be the woman that I want to be, But y'all, that's just a little short story on my experience with, not having to clean, and sure, it might sound, relaxing where you don't have to do much when you're at home, but that doesn't teach you any responsibility, you know what I'm saying? You need to have that sense of cleanliness about yourself. And I learned from an old friend that cleanliness, dang, what's the doggone saying? Basically, cleanliness equates to having a clear mind and being closer to God. So, and I keep that in mind, honestly. And when I do decide to get up and, freshen up the area, it's good. Oh, yes. And I make my bed every day. I make sure I do that. And that's something I used to not do. It was not a thing for me to make my bed every day. I used to think, like, why I do that? I'm going to get home and get right back in it. You know what I'm saying? But now, when I'm getting up out my bed, I make my bed. I make it, I make it my business to do that, just for myself, for my mental. But I guess that's all I really have to say right now, y'all. But if you watched this whole video, I really appreciate you for doing so. Heck, I appreciate you for clicking on it. If you really enjoyed it, please like and subscribe so you can see more and so that I can see more of y'all. Thank you so much. I'll see y'all again soon. Bye.